Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is Sunday evening. The sun is out later than normal, so it still feels like daytime. But hey, also because daylight savings time is stupid. Welcome everybody. It is, like I said, Sunday. It's time for our show, Like Clockwork, where we take our wonderful cast. This time through the desert. So they landed in the city of Mirakodashta. They met up. They had some adventures, and now they are trying to get away because they're pretty sure somebody's trying to kill one or some or all of them. And so they want to get out of the city. And the best way to get out of the city is probably by boat or airship, and then the next best way is whichever one it isn't, and then eventually there's caravans that go into the desert. So that's what they chose to do because all of them are used to traveling in the desert where it is hot and there's no water, and just the land itself is trying to kill you. So that's the good time that we're going to go on here. Before we start, let's see if there's any announcements that anyone needs to make. I have no announcements myself right now, actually. Crazy.
I have one.
John has an announcement. Go, John.
In my non-makeup life, where I'm a playwright in the quote-unquote real world in which we live, I am working with a group called Tiny Theater, which is on Facebook, and it's this couple that is doing something called March Madness. It's called Tiny Wonders, and basically every playwright who watches them and writes with them submitted a one-page play. And so they're doing a play a day all throughout March. They're called Tiny Wonders. And my play is coming up on the 17th, which is Wednesday. It's on the 17th, I know that. And they do them at different times every day. It's all randomized. Crazy. It's wonderful. But they also do have an archive of the previous plays on their Facebook, and that's facebook.com/Tiny Theater. Yeah, so that's an exciting thing that I'm doing. Yay.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Anyone else? So mostly the standard stuff, which is, of course, we've got tonight, Like Clockwork. Tomorrow night, we have Dresden. Tuesday nights, we've got Shadowrun. Wednesday nights, we don't have anything, but Randy sure does over on Saving Throw Show. Yeah, Saving Throw Show. And then Thursday we've got our next Dungeons and Dragons. Friday we've got community game night, and then Saturday again we have Dungeons and Dragons in the morning for people that like to play Dungeons and Dragons in the morning. I don't.
And so this coming Saturday is an Ask Me Anything style for D&D on Saturday, and then the following Saturday, which is the 27th, it's an all-new premiere of Episodicals 4, and they're playing Descent into Avernus.
Ooh.
So,
nice.
Hang out Saturday morning and go to hell.
Now, Sarah, I have two questions. Do you have a Saturday morning cereal of choice that we should be eating as we're watching, like a breakfast morning cereal?
I mean, I've been all about Trix lately, so I guess Trix are for kids. Do the Trix.
My second one is I don't know if you actually want to talk about this yet, but isn't there like the anniversary of Rem coming up sometime or something like that?
Yeah, good call. I'm just tired and distracted, but thanks for making me keep my shit together here.
Keep her on her toes.
Saturday, April 10th, we are doing a 36-hour streamathon. And we are fundraising to just, celebrate our 1 year of streaming. We started last April. We're up to 430 Twitch followers, which is amazing. We've got a wonderful little community, and we want to celebrate that. So we have a lot of fans that are actually going to be running stuff, playing and stuff. We've got lots of games happening. And it's going to start with D&D Episodicals 4 on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and end with Like Clockwork on Sunday, same time, same place, 7 to 10 p.m. Central here. So lots of really cool shows. Some of the stuff like we don't do normally. So not a terrible amount of D&D. We've got like some Shadowrun Anarchy, Shadowrun 6th edition. We've got the game I always forget the name of that Danny runs, that you're in D&D but you're the townspeople and you all die because you're townspeople and you suck.
Well, the system that it comes from is called Dungeon Crawl Classics. So it's like old school D&D style. And then it's what we call a funnel adventure, where we have a lot of people at the start. They're all villagers, and then I run them through a meat grinder, and it's a good time.
Oh, I've done it. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed when I did it. Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. We've even got some Pathfinder that's going to be starting up, and more. There's a whole schedule. It filled up. We thought it was going to be a 24-hour stream, and it filled up within like an hour of us asking for GMs. So we kept going. So tune in with us. Awesome time to fundraise. We'll do giveaways, and it'll be a great time.
It's gonna be a great time. All right, so with all of our announcements out of the way, everybody, okay. Well, with that, then we're gonna have to go ahead and get into our adventure, and so yeah, let's hop to it as always. Like clockwork, it's time. Hey everybody, we are back and let's get rolling. When we last left off, we had received our payment from Araujo, and that was shenanigans. And then we went and got our camels. There was some issue with the finger, but I think that was eventually taken care of, or not. And then everybody loaded up the camels and got on the camels because the camel train is heading out in the desert. You already knew Northam, who is the top boss, the big boss of the caravan. You also met an Ogelia, who is who basically seems like she's going to be the head of the guard, even though she sort of had this limp. You kind of question, is that going to affect her ability to lead the guard? But it's not your caravan. Aegis just has to keep everybody alive, or else nobody gets paid. Yeah, so they're headed off, and then there was a little bit of comedy there at the end, as Perunia and her camel didn't get along, and eventually there were some technical difficulties that she was having getting on the camel, and so we had our tech person Tom assist with a natural 20 to get her up onto that camel finally.
Pretty sure I fell 4 times. Like, yeah, it was like a lot.
It was ridiculous. It was so hilariously ridiculous. And to make things even better, as you're moving out, there is someone calling Perunia. Not Perunia, sorry, because that's not her name. Her name is
Avril.
Avril Avenge.
Did he just see me fall off the camel the whole time? Because that would be super embarrassing.
As you look that way, you do note that he could have. Depends on like where he came out from, like the road. So it's totally possible.
My purple skin is definitely like blushing right now. I'm a little bit more magenta right now than normal.
Right. It's a little bit extra purple. So as he's like trying to flag you down,
not getting off this camel. I'll pull my camel aside to go talk to him, but I am not getting off this thing.
Okay, so go ahead and give me an animal handling check.
Oh boy. I think we all found
Since
out how good I
I'm-
was at that.
Since I'm on the pack, is there any way that I can help with this if need be? Oh, you don't need me.
Okay,
You're fine.
okay.
Nope,
So far,
she
so good.
just tells, she's like, "Stop, camel." And he approaches. You're heading out then
Yes,
with the restless wind, which is the name of the caravan.
that's correct.
Ah,
Very observant of you.
I thought to catch you at the theater, but I did not realize that you were in such a hurry to leave. So I just first, it was lovely to meet you, and thank you for all of your assistance. I did want to note that there's a gnome in this caravan, Zivid, I believe is his name, and there are several stories that he was regaling his various companions and peers at the taverns. But it seems that someone has taken him up on exploring the truth behind some of his stories. It is a man, Uzenda Vigrij. You know by now that the V just means of, just like Vishan or Vaishan. So Vigrij would be of Grij, whatever that means. So let me just say the stories are quite interesting. Be mindful, it might bring you trouble.
Usenda Yavij, he hired
Vigrij.
Vigrij. He hired Zavid?
Zavid, yes, he hired Zavid to
do what?
The stories speak of ruins in the desert and some great miracle, perhaps.
And this Usenda wants
Probably
him to bring it back? Bring something back, perhaps?
Zavid is guiding Uzenda.
So is Usenda also on this caravan with the restless wind?
I would imagine so. Probably. He looks down. This is a line of like nearly 100, maybe more camels. So it's hard to. It's you just it becomes a blur of just people and camels eventually. But so just do be mindful.
Usenda, is that
nothing.
a human name?
Vigrij, yes. He is an Ishani.
Ishani. Okay.
So.
Thank you for the warning. We'll keep our eyes out. Though,
Indeed.
what you guys are worried about, I'm not so sure it has a religious angle. Unless it's the miracle you speak.
If we were truly concerned about the religious angle, I would not be here talking to you, and we would be on the caravan, I believe. But I did just want to warn you, there are definitely things that are going on with you and your companions. So I just thought it would be neighborly to inform you.
Aw, you think we're heroes? Well, I appreciate it.
I do think you are embroiled in something.
Oh, come off it. I'm just joshing you, Tiske. I appreciated the note, and I will heed the warning.
Very good. And if you ever come back through Mirakodashta, do keep an eye open for me.
It's a date.
And with that, he pats the camel on the rump, just kind of like a, just almost like he's clapping your shoulder, but you're way up there. And give me an animal handling check as he steps back.
Oh, this is gonna be so embarrassing. No, is that good enough? I don't know.
So the camel kind of lurches forward at that, and you your eyes widen as you're afraid that maybe you'll pitch over, but you manage to rein the camel in and get it to walking in a trot. And with that, off you go.
Just from inside one of your packs, you hear Tisky and Perunia sitting in a mountain.
At least say Avril.
No.
All right. So with that, you head out from Merakudashta on this train of camels. Like I said, nearly 100, probably more camels on this train. Right now, all of you are in the back. They definitely don't anticipate any trouble, within sight of the city itself. Mostly, it's concerns when you head out into the desert itself, the wide open expanse, the dunes, various sort of craglands and stuff. So it is, as things go, it's a rather nice day. The weather, of course, on the east coast of Ishan is different from the desert itself. There's still greenery. It's got a semi-tropical feel. It's not like a tropical paradise per se, but it's definitely got the warmth. There's the mild weather, the breeze coming in off the coast up into the mountains, and you can see actually there's this particular pass through the mountains that's, it's almost like some giant heavenly body or something like cleft into the mountain range there. So there's mountains all along to the north and south, but right there it's an opening, and it's, for those of a scholarly bent, it has been a sort of mystery for many historians and geologists why this mountain is like that. But for you, it just means that there's an easy path to travel from Merakudashta into the desert proper. And is there anything that anyone is doing in particular during this day of easy travel upon your lovely camels?
Yeah, I'd like to just ride like probably where Perunia got and sort of ride next to her for a little bit and talk to her about what just happened with Tearskate. So Perunia, looks like you're getting a better handle of your camel there.
I can't get worse, can I?
No, I don't think there's much room for that. I noticed Tearskate called you over before we left town, and I'm just trying to see what he had to say to you.
Can't tell if he's got a crush on me or if he's trying to use us for some other means. Maybe both is actually what I'm thinking. But anyway, he said that in our caravan on the Restless Wind, there's a gnome called Zavid who's leading a Vishani gentleman, Yusanda Vajid, to some sort of runes to look for some sort of miracle. He said that it wasn't worth his time and from a religious standpoint, but he felt that it was shady enough that we, as a party of heroes, might be interested.
Yeah.
Don't know what that actually means, like what we're supposed to do about it, but
I've got a feeling in my gut it's probably got something to do with all this magic mumbo jumbo. Maybe.
Miracles are magic. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like Shaylu needs to know about this, and so does the rest of the team.
Well, since your angel handling skills seem to be better, I'm going to rely on you to take your camel to each of them and tell them.
Will do. And I spend some of that like easy writing time speaking with each person, sort of relaying that information so we're on the same page.
I just want to say that Sarah, not Shayloon, was like, I'm really glad that this is totally Perunia's problem and not Shay's problem. And then Randy's like, I'm gonna go tell Shay.
It was gonna become your problem.
God damn it.
All right.
As you come up to me, a religious investigation. Did they give details?
It doesn't seem like it's a religious investigation. Otherwise, he would have been here himself. But it was shady enough that he wanted to warn Perunia. I'll let you think whatever that means. But basically, we need to keep an eye out. We're looking for another gnome. But Danny, quick question. Have we noticed many gnomes on this caravan with us?
No, there may be a couple. There's just a handful, and most of them look like they are working as like laborers.
Mhm.
The ones that are kind of back towards the side that you see, but you've only seen like 2 or 3 besides the gnomes traveling with you.
And I take it that the guy we're looking for wouldn't be a worker in that regards. He's kind of leading the other guys. So, yeah, I just look at Aegis and would go, yeah, just keep an eye out for either some human who looks like he has no business on a caravan or this little gnome. I think that's the best way to play it.
This is of particular interest to me. I will keep an eye. And you see me kind of like my focus just like kind of disappears, and I'm like have my beads clutched in my hands.
He sort of kicks Mongi to get back in line where he was supposed to be ready.
All right, and Mongi is
Mongi is my camel, or the fact that Lox has a lot of pride. He's never ridden anything that's not a horse, so he decided to name his camel Horse.
as they do. Okay, well, unless so anyone else have anything they want to?
Yes.
As much as I like feeling like gnomish bread in a parcel, at some point I would really love to get out of the pack that I'm in and have fresh air. Would be fantastic. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have made that crack about Tiske. I'm hoping that Pruny will still let me out of wherever I am.
I will once we're out of sight of the town completely.
Okay.
How
Just
long do you think
remembering
we can get
here.
away with it where we're like, it's not safe yet. Stay longer so we don't have to
Wow.
What? Pruny would never do that.
Prunia,
Is...
do you want me to try to befriend the gnome that Tiske warned you about?
Yeah, he's never coming out. They're never coming out.
As we're leaving the town, as we kind of break from like the town proper and into like the vastness of the desert, Aegis kind of stares off into the distance, and kind of a tunnel vision kind of comes to him, and he says very quietly, "So here we are. You have me far from home in this desert area that is very unfamiliar to me. And I have made the request that you have asked and taken on this ridiculous task that I am not sure that I can even achieve, but it is at your whim. This is your opportunity. Show these people what you are capable of. Show me what you are capable of." And then he bows his head, and that's pretty much it.
As
so
he
you basically you dared your god to not kill anyone so they can prove it to you. I just want to clarify that's exactly what just happened there, right?
No. First of all, this conversation's not happening.
As he puts his head down, there is a breeze, a brisk breeze that suddenly just kind of whips up from behind and blows forward, and several of the leaves and other sort of loose particles on the ground are whipped up a little bit and kind of go forward, and it almost seems like all of this material is kind of like rushing forward and towards the mountain pass, as if to kind of beckon the rest of you forward, and then almost as quickly as it whips up, it sort of dies down again, it could be coincidence.
When we leave the city, that's when I'll drop the invisibility from within the cart, and kind of clamber out.
Okay.
And maybe call for Locks to help me onto the camel.
All right, will do.
So there are 6 camels. There are 5 camels with saddles for riding and 1 camel with stuff on it. The idea was that the gnomes, one of the gnomes would probably be riding with somebody almost at all times.
I mean, I'm fine with staying on the cart too. In this particular case, so most of the time I'll stay on the cart because, hey, I can write while I'm in there and read and stuff like that. But in this case, I would probably ask to join up with Locks.
Okay. So there isn't a cart, actually.
Yeah.
The 6th camel is the cart. It's just.
Oh,
like
I thought Perunia brought all the supplies on a cart that we had borrowed.
Yeah, like on a little wagon cart that you left, because dragging that through the desert is going to be problematic.
Gotcha.
Gold.
Okay. Well, then I'm on a camel with Locks. Let's move on.
Yes.
Right. So do you rematerialize, I guess, from your invisible, right? Just
Little pop.
with a pop?
Why not?
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. Lox is a little startled, just from that.
Lux, when I heard what you were talking about with Perunia. I mean Avril. I mean, whatever.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe when we rest for the evening, we can talk as a group when we're. I don't know that we want to make it our business, but sounds like Aegis wants it to be his business. I don't know. It sounds dangerous. I don't like dangerous things. That's kind of why we're leaving the big city where we're getting hunted. But anyway, I was thinking, and I look around to see how far away Aegis is. Maybe we could go see the leader of the caravan again and try to undo what Aegis did, where we don't get paid.
Yeah, I get that. So there's 2 things I've got to say. One, I think talking to everybody tonight sounds like an amazing idea. But, and as much as I agree that I think Aegis spoke too much and got us in a little bit over our heads, I do believe that going behind his back to do this isn't really good for the group. Miss Shaylin, I know that's not what you want to hear, but what I would like to say is if we do that, we run the risk of telling Aegis basically that Aegis has his own way of doing things. You know that, I know that. But we also need to learn to respect each other's decisions for the group. Otherwise, why are we doing this at all together?
By the way, as you mentioned, like going behind his back, my hands unconsciously like move toward the pouch of money that I don't tell you guys that I have.
Whoa.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying think about it before you do. I don't want to be a part of it because I respect Aegis. And I think maybe even though it might be hard, I want to have faith in him. I just ask that maybe the rest of us do too.
Shay just kind of gets quiet and doesn't say anything else about it. She's kind of chewing on her lip because she's like, she's been running with Panabon long enough that she knows what it's like to be hungry, and so she's got some stuff to think about. Like she agrees with what Locke says, but at the same time, Aegis made this decision without everyone else. So like she's conflicted right now, but it kind of damages her trust in confiding in him a little bit, but that's okay. she's in survival mode, so that she'll do what she needs to and she'll think about it. So for the rest of the day, she's just going to get out her spell book and start taking notes and writing letters and trying to translate or understand all of the magic she's seen in the past 2 days, and like not forget a thing. So she just gets quiet.
As Lox realizes that maybe he lost some of. I mean, Shaylun, I imagine, is pretty talkative. Of course, she's really studious as well, but I think there's a distinct feeling that he gets when he realizes that maybe he's being too honest about what he thinks, and that he might have messed up that situation a little bit. He doesn't know. So he gets kind of silent too, and just really focuses out on the horizon, just like he used to as he would ride with his old riding mates, thinking about the past.
Oh, the past.
My heart hurts.
And so the day wears on until you are kind of at the highest point of the pass, and as you kind of come across this horizon with the sun setting to the east behind you, the light is this brilliant just hues of oranges and reds and pinks that are just kind of beaming past you and painting this massive desert. The sands easily taking on the colors of the light as it passes through the clouds from the east. And it is a sight indeed. You can't look to the left or right. The mountains are there. But ahead of you, the path rolls down gently, and then it's just as far as the eye can see. This desert, dunes far to the south, crags more to the north. None of you have ever seen anything like this except for Perunia and Rosalia because of their previous adventures in the mountains to the north. For the rest of you, there's nothing like this. As I said, it's just the sand is, it just takes on the colors of that sunset. You notice that down the way the caravan is already starting to sort of group and circle, there is some sort of building structure down there. Looks like this is kind of a standard stopping place for caravans on their way out or perhaps on their way in as well.
Okay. I'm gonna lead my camels towards wherever Central is, and I'm gonna keep an eye out for the caravan leader, which my notes.
Northam?
That person, Northam, yeah. Looking for them.
For Norsum, okay, sure. So as the caravan kind of gathers in and circles up, and you get closer in, Aegis kind of pulls ahead to seek out Norsum, and kind of discuss maybe how he wants to work his various.
I'm not gonna approach them for a conversation or anything, but I want my camel to be central because I'm gonna set up there, basically, kind of central
Right.
to where the caravan leader is.
Okay, so yeah, you do find that area where they're camped out. You see Ogelia. You see there's a few other individuals there as well. There is they're setting up a fire near the building. There is an actual, perhaps it's like a pit, a fire pit, and with grills above so that it can actually be used for cooking. It's probably the last place you can have barbecue, as long as you brought everything you need to barbecue. And yeah, you start setting up your station there.
Yep.
pretty much. Go ahead.
I'm not sure from what the 15 gold that I spent, like what I was allowed to have, but I would imagine a cot of some sort I tried to get. Some sort of like setup where someone would be able to lay down. I'm going to lay out my stuff so that people can see that there's like medical supplies out. And I also have a banner with the Chaituating Medical Guild stamp on it. I just set it up and then start getting my sleep gear kind of situated.
Okay. Yeah, you're setting everything up there. It's it doesn't take long, and the 15 gold, it actually gets you quite a lot. You'll be surprised if you burn through all of this before you get to your final destination. Actually, like there, you would have to be in a really, really horrific sort of battle that went poorly for everybody for it to for you to use a lot of this. So you do feel a little bit confident there. What else? What's everyone else doing at this point?
I'm gonna go up to Rosalia, and I'm sure that Locke already conveyed the information to her when he was making his rounds. But she and I have been on caravans before too, so she and I have a rhythm. So I'm gonna go up to her and be like, "Hey, what do you think about this Yusenda and Zavid characters? Do you think this is even gonna be worth our time?"
I don't. Can you explain to me what the deal is with them?
Like,
Because I don't.
Tiscay just like warned us that these guys are going to be like looking for runes to take back with them and that they're into shady behavior. He like gave us nothing. If anything, I feel like it was just an excuse to talk to me, which I mean, whatever. But if there are
Right.
shady, I mean, right. But if there are shady stuff happening, like, do we care? I mean, I don't know. Panama's got shady shit going on all the time. I don't care about their shady stuff.
I mean, I think we all like to throw shade, but like, what do you mean about these runes?
He said there was runes and that Zavid was acting as a guide to Yusenda and that they wanted to bring back something miraculous. So maybe something magical? Maybe something from like your world? I don't know.
So are they like gold miners for ancient worlds or something?
I mean, who knows? But miraculous takes me to a place like of magic, and like I think if anyone saw anything from your world, they would think it's miraculous. So like if they get anything of elvish origin, I'm gonna imagine that you're gonna feel a certain kind of way about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting the feeling that we're in a caravan full of opportunists, and each one of us has our own opportunity that we're looking to find. So I think we should keep our best interests close at heart, but also know everyone is in it for themselves. It's
I
like
agree.
at the end of the day, even though we're in a desert, we're in a pool full of sharks. So if they're looking for elf stuff that they want to put in a museum in this world or whatever, just keep in mind I don't expect anyone to have my best interest in mind on this caravan. So I'm looking out for my stuff and your stuff, but I already know everyone's in their own world looking for stuff. If it's something that could threaten or harm any of us, then I think we should keep an eye on it. Like if they're going to do something harmful with the rooms, but if not,
I mean, yeah, everybody's got shady shit. Like, whatever, it's not our problem unless they're actively trying to hurt people with it and like immediately hurt people with it. Don't know if I care. Like, yeah, that's just honest. And so Rosalia and I probably like we've got more of a routine, so we were setting up our stuff near the fire and like we're chilling. I'll probably check in with Orthelia, the head guard, to make sure like when each of our watches are and things like that. But I'm like in the head zone of like we're caravan, thing now and like getting into a rhythm.
Okay.
Before so as soon as we get to this stopping point, Shay's been thinking all day, and she's not stupid. So she's gonna slide off the camel and kind of awkwardly kind of shake out her legs because her butt hurts from riding a camel all day, side straddle, because she can't straddle that shit. Her legs are too small. But she's all stiff. But she immediately starts looking around for Panabon. John?
I let them out.
Panabon, thank you. Panabon was actually just being polite. They weren't actually stuck, but it's funny because there are certain angles that Panabon knows how to sit in, so Panabon's not as sore because Panabon's just that good. Actually, I have 2 things to do. The first one I'm going to do, noticing I'm in the desert, is I'm going through my little bag and I take out a little mechanical crab creature and I set it on the sand to test what the sand is like here. And then I go about 20 feet to test the sand there just to get an idea of what the ground is like. So I'm basically doing a surveillance of terrain in a way.
Okay. Yeah, the crab that you have set up, it is able to skitter sideways along the ground. So here it isn't very sandy. So there's some sand, but it's mostly just hard packed dirt from all the caravans that have traveled over. And it's not probably until you get a little bit further down into the desert itself where the sand will start to slowly overtake. But right now you are in the mountain range. And so even though this part is kind of carved out of the range to create this wide road that goes through, the fact that it is part of the mountain range is definitely visible, as on either side of the road there's still rock outcroppings. There's places where there's just like stones that have tumbled from above and down into the passageway. So you're not quite in the desert proper yet. So it's hard packed dirt. The crab's having no problem kind of skittering to the side. It's not losing balance or sliding at all. And that's what you're doing when Shayloon walks up on you.
One more question: does the crab? Does the wild crab? Are there any indents? How soft is this rock?
It's hard packed dirt, so it's not leaving like it might disturb some of the like loose dirt and dust over it, but as far as the ground below, it might make little marks with its pointy little feet. The rocks themselves are solid rocks.
Okay, groovy. Thank you.
Panabon, did you have a decent day of travel?
Yeah, it was great. Did you remember that thing that I tried to teach you about knees and positioning, or are you feeling travel already?
It's so uncomfortable. I mean, luckily my legs are small, so I'm able to kind of shift from one side of side straddle to the other side to kind of leaning back and putting my feet up a little bit on the humps. But it's not great.
Well, we can try some of those like lunge stretches again and see if those help. Those worked. Those worked on the wagon that one time.
If you could do that thing where you stand on my back and pull my leg until it cracks, I could really go for that.
Sure, no problem. I can do that for you.
So
the real reason she keeps him around.
So while they're doing this acrobatic whatever they're doing, she kind of lowers her voice. She knows that Panabon's aware of the conversation about the runes. She knows that Panabon is gonna go investigate what the fuck this is about and check out this gnome. There's no stopping that. So she's just gonna go very quietly, keep me posted on what you find out.
Yes, most definitely.
Now say that in your honest voice, Panabon.
I heard the only hesitance I have is the word rune. The word rune is a little... People do things with runes, and it used to be things didn't happen when you did things with runes, but things can apparently happen now with runes. So, I'm not going to stab anyone. No stabbing will take place, probably. But I just, I can say hello in gnome. I'm a very polite gnome.
When you want
it's fine. When I want to be. I'm downright charming.
You're also even better at listening from a distance. So if you pick up anything, just keep us posted.
Of course, my plan is to probably be on patrol with one of the tall folk, as it were. Um, I haven't decided who gets the honor of my presence, but we'll see.
With that, the crack goes through, and Shay kind of stretches and flexes, and gets up and dusts the sand off of her, and she kind of looks over at the group of tall people as well, like almost making a choice, and then her shoulders kind of slump a little bit, and she just sits by herself a little bit a ways from the fire, and opens her book again.
All right.
And I make sure that you have some like water and a little bit of rations near you, so that you remember to eat while you're deep in contemplation.
Thanks, Panabone.
Anytime.
So what I'd like to do once we sort of make camp is rig sort of an alarm, like have our back against a canyon wall or the side wall or whatever we can do to be as secure as possible, and build sort of a perimeter around that, using rope and bells in case some people try to take advantage of us on this caravan.
I'm gonna walk up to Lox and be like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
And I'm used to. This is how we did it back in Stepanur.
Yes, when you had like 4 horses, we have a caravan of a.
Oh no, I'm not
100
talking about
camel.
everybody. I'm talking about us. Our.
Yeah, I know. It's still weird. Everybody else on this caravan is like, "What are you doing?"
I've never been on a camel caravan before. I'm just doing what I know.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe tone it down. Otherwise they're gonna think that we're crazy foreigners, and which, might I tell you, we are. So we can tone it down a little bit. And also, we are going to be on guard, so we can watch our stuff while we watch the entire perimeter of the caravan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then he stops.
Fine. Coils his rope back up.
Yeah, coils it back up. But
Dings his bells a little bit.
If we get attacked, I'm gonna be very sad.
The entire caravan will be attacked.
True.
Panabon weeds for this lost obstacle ropes course that just got set up for him a little bit. That's set up for them.
So once all of the, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. I also I rummage through my bag for a couple of the vials of acid that I have, and I go jogging up to Aegis, and I just set down 2 of the vials, leaving one to myself. Hi. So this is how do I want to say this? I hate that I have to say things plainly. This is acid. Because people apparently want me to use words, so I guess I'm going to do that. So I have 1 more vial left for myself that I am going to test. If you can reproduce this in some way, shape, or form where it's usable, or if you find it usable for testing, just in case. Not that I don't think that Nipoe won't come through, because neat. But just in case we need an option B against undead creatures, vandals, errants, undead camels, whatever is going to come after us. Yeah, it might be good to have some version of this available. Doesn't even have to be as pretty.
When you say the word acid and be very direct, the corner of Aegis's mouth kind of curls up into like a half smile.
I'm clearly annoyed that I had to use real words, but I just couldn't think of anything in the moment.
Impressive, Panabon. I will analyze this and attempt to duplicate.
Thank you.
All right.
That's
so.
Yeah,
with all of that, once the caravan kind of gets all settled in, and everybody is kind of in their various own places, that is when Ogalia kind of approaches your area, which is not exactly where Aegis is, because Aegis is set up kind of Well, probably maybe at the edge of your area, but facing where it's like kind of welcoming to folks to come if they have a splinter or something. I guess I don't know. But Ogelia does come over and kind of looks over everybody. So, there are more of you than there were before?
Technically, no. We told Flotsam exactly how many that were joining. They were just not visible while we
Yes.
were leaving.
Yes, I recall. And so the little ones, they're also guards?
I would suggest pairing one of the littler ones with one of us tall folk. But yes, each of them are adept at their own, let's say, deadly skills.
Very good then. Well, are many of you knowledgeable in how the caravan works?
Rosalia and I have done this several times.
But the rest of you, this is your first. Very well. So quickly, the way this works is that each of the merchants has a number of camels that they bring, and each of those camels is a line led by a tender who ensures that the camels are moving and keeps an eye out for everything, and then they're merchant. And so what we'd like to do is have a guard at each of these lines. And so what that's going to do is that's going to place you, spread all of you throughout the caravan during the day. And then in the night, we will determine a watch order for everybody. Does everyone understand this?
Yep.
Very good. Tonight is an easy night, and we won't have to worry about it so much, but for the lot of you, I am looking for you to be in lines 3, 4, 5, and 6 if I'm pairing both of the little ones.
Gnomes. We're called gnomes.
As you can see, they're quite feisty.
Would perhaps they do well together as a single unit?
I look at them, like, up to you guys.
Am I there? Like, okay, you said I was a little bit off, but am I within earshot of any of this?
Yeah, you're within earshot.
Absolutely.
You can talk to them directly. They have ears to hear you.
I actually appreciate Aegis slightly more.
Forgive me, I was looking to the experienced warrior as the spokesperson for your group for the moment.
I handled the business here. And she stands up and dusts the sand off her butt.
As you will. Then would you be comfortable tending a line with your fellow gnome?
Yes, we are perfectly capable ourselves.
Excellent. Then I will have you in lines again 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then the 2 gnomes, please, in line 8.
Got it. Camel riding makes me grumpy, apparently.
I mean, it's
being
annoying.
not spoken to could also make you grumpy, so
Yeah, I'm
hear
really
that.
actually frustrated with being like underestimated because I'm small.
Also, I love that I just am getting the honor of being the experienced warrior, and it's really just because Prunia has the biggest muscles. Let's be honest, she's totally going off looks here.
Yes, indeed. So one of the things you'll notice as all the camels are kind of close in, that there's actually some sort of it's not a saddle per se. It's more of like a seat that then is like established up a little higher. Most of them are covered. There's a few. There's like maybe 7 or 8 camels that have this. Most of them are covered. 1 or 2 are not, but seeing the ones that aren't, you can tell the ones are covered. They're like this, where they're not a saddle that you have to sit with your legs, straddled over the side. It's more of a like a rickshaw kind of seating situation. Unfortunately, none of your camels have that.
Oh, shoot.
But that is a thing.
Give Panabon till the end of the night. We'll have them.
Oh no! No.
That's a little bit difficult to kind of sneakily get away with.
Also,
I guess.
then they'll see that we have one.
Yeah,
Right. Like where did our thing go? And you're just like, I
Right
don't
there.
know.
Yeah, I was trying to protect us from stealing, but instead I just let Panabon like go around causing mayhem. No.
That is yes.
Hey, I'm trying to interview for a new deity, so maybe I'll be on my best behavior, or maybe not. Well,
Maybe
you just never
when
know
we get-
with me.
When we get to the first oasis, maybe they'll have camel seats that we can buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except we have no money, but you have some money for the party that
We just got paid the 500 gold split between us.
Oh right.
Yeah,
there's like
we
a
right,
only
little bit extra.
spent
Yeah, there's
360
100
of it.
left.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's a little over 100.
I
left.
just have more that you don't know about.
Yeah, true. I have
All
no
right.
opinions about it because I don't know. One thing I do want to do is during time where people are sort of communing around the bonfire area or whatever, I just want to sort of lean back, maybe talk to a few people, but nothing really serious. Just hearing if anyone introduces themselves as either Zavid or Uzinda.
All right, so you're just kind of trying to keep an eye on the rest of the caravan and just kind of see who's around.
Yeah, because Locke still isn't into trusting the entire caravan at once. He's not used to all of this.
Okay.
What?
Well,
sorry.
go ahead.
What colors are the sky out here? Like, are we? Is it a kind of at night? Is it going to end up being like a deep blue purple color?
Yeah, the nights are the same as our nights here in the real world. The difference is that there are 2 moons that circle each at their own pace. So some nights are, especially when both of the moons are both near full, it can be really bright at night. But other than that, it's the same.
I'm trying to make a mask to recreate those colors so I actually blend into the scenery almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so very much like dark indigos and violets and blues along the ground when it's nighttime, because that's there's no real color, reflecting off from the light. So, all right. Well, with that, it's not hard to find a gnome that's different from the rest. As you see a small figure sitting at one of the fires, there are 3 men. One of them is dressed in various finery. The other 2 look to be men-at-arms of some sort, and similarly dressed as well. The gnome is just chattering away. In Ishani, it's hard to get a gauge of what he's talking about from this distance, even if you understand the language, and definitely hard to kind of tell what his companions seem to think about his incessant chattering.
Just take a mental note of where I saw them, and what they look like, just so I can report that back to the group.
Okay. All right.
That's what
So as you, Aegis, are kind of sitting at your tent, somebody kind of not tent, but you're set up there for your medical stuff. A young man approaches.
Taido, do you have need of medical attention?
I I was just wondering what this was. See, I thought maybe you were a merchant for the caravan, but you were a doctor.
Yes, that is correct. I stand up. I put my tea down, stand up pretty briskly, and I extend a hand. Aegis Ing.
Oh, yes, and he extends his own hand to shake it a little bit, like, okay, that's what we're doing. And then he smiles back at you, and yeah, my name is Dish, and yes, are you a merchant, or are you just hired on with the caravan for your services?
My services here are complimentary. If you are injured or feel ill, come to me and I will take care of you.
Oh, that's good to know. Sometimes people do get injured on caravans, and it's a miserable time. So I hear. Okay. Well, it's very good to meet you, and I hopefully I don't have to speak to you in a uh, professional capacity, but rather you're from Da Nang.
Yes.
I've never been out of Faishan, and would you be too terribly put upon if I were to speak to you sometime about that land?
I am a very busy man.
Oh,
and there's like nothing going on around me.
I know. I see. Well, okay.
How old is he? Like, how old does he look?
He looks to be just into adulthood.
Look, perhaps sometime when things have settled in, come by and we will have a conversation.
Yes, certainly.
But not now.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Aegis. Aegis Ing. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
And he turns and walks back to one of his other camels. With that, the camps, everybody's mostly settling. Everybody's eaten various food, and then the night's kind of wearing on, and it's getting to be time for sleeping. Is there anything anyone wants to do before bed, or anything anyone wants to do specifically with how they're setting themselves up?
Did Orgelia give us any shifts for tonight?
No.
Okay.
Then I suggest missing my homeland. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I think you're fine. I was just going to suggest to the group that one of us, we should take rounds internally if we're not on guard tonight ourselves. Go ahead, Rosalia.
I'm kind of missing my homeland and trying to see if I can reach out to anyone and connect with them. But it's hard because I don't know. I am feeling kind of lost and I don't know how to find them. And I'm also taking note of where we are with maps. So everywhere we go with my ambulance, with my amulets, I'm logging where we're going just in case, and so we don't get lost.
Okay. So are you stepping away from the group while you do this, like to like a quiet place, or are you, um, how are you doing this?
No, I'm just zoning out.
Okay. Which is what elves do. Elves do not sleep. They go into a trance for 4 hours and then they are fully rested. So yeah, you enter this sort of this trance-like state, and kind of cast your mind back towards your village, your people, um, back towards the Shadow Fae, and just wondering what it means. Not only that you've crossed over and haven't found your way back, but also what it means that apparently other things are crossing over as well. Um, and as you are kind of sitting there and thinking to yourself about it, you see in your vision this blue orb start to slowly kind of coalesce into being in front of you. It This sort of energy and mist, these sort of teal and aquamarine and turquoise uh, wisps of smoke or mist, water vapor, something just kind of circling around it. And inside there is a light that that seems to sort of flicker as a voice uh, kind of starts to speak a little bit to you. Um,
I don't
Eventually,
know. I just don't know what it is, so I kind of ask it to identify itself, but I'm not sure if it's going to answer me.
yes, you do feel a little bit of familiarity with the voice when the voice speaks, and it says to you, "You will return. Fear not."
And I accept that being an elf is very mysterious and there is no definite yeses or nos in our lives. So I just ponder that. It's the closest thing to meditation that an elf can do.
As you kind of accept that response, it starts to slowly deform and grow dim. And as it does so, you just kind of hear these words in your mind as it's like almost like parting wind as they kind of whisper through your mind. This is the path. Be patient. And then you feel a sense of rejuvenation, and other than that, your emotions, not sure what Rosalia makes of that, but anyone else doing anything special tonight?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to wave my little hand around and say, "Hey, so I slept pretty well in my container. Thank you for letting me out eventually. I'd be happy to take the shift tonight. I don't mind. I don't really sleep well. I prefer to sleep in during the morning, anyways. So this works out better. It'll be fun. It'll be like a camp out. Everyone have a good night. It'll be okay. Everything will be fine. Everything will be
Hey.
fine."
You have to work tomorrow, Panabon, so let's divvy it up so it's not one person doing everything.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. What I just like to do before going to bed is not necessarily try to commune with the voice that I've been hearing, because it's so sporadic at this point that I don't think Lox doesn't know if he can just expect to hear it whenever he wants. And so instead, what he's going to do is take out, when he's sitting by the fire, take out his gun and sort of play around with the little crow's head, like skull that's attached to the bottom of it. Like it's kind of like one of those keychain things on cell phones. It's kind of like that, except cooler. And he's just going to really think about the adventure and very carefully polish his gun. That's it.
Okay. Anybody else? What is the watch order?
Whatever it is, when Panabon goes on his, I want to be up at the same time. So I'm just saying.
Aw, you want to
Yep.
watch with me?
I would say I would have put, if I was trying to figure it out, I would have put Panabon first because they said they weren't tired. And then probably second shift to me, and then third because I know Rosalia only needs 4 hours of sleep. Then Rosalia when she's out of her meditative trance, and we'd probably do like 3 hours each or so.
Yeah, so there's going to be 3 separate watches with each of 2 of you on each. So that leaves a space with Perunia for Aegis O'Shea and a space with Rosalia for Aegis O'Shea.
Oh, I'm up on watch.
You will be eventually.
I'll
you want to take?
I'll take the last watch then, because I'll be up the
Okay.
earliest. Unless Sarah, you have a particular aim for.
So it would be if you're on the last one with Rosalia, it would be me and who?
Perunia?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so with that, everyone kind of turns in. Rosalia is in her trance right now. That whole 1 minute that we actually took to do that is really, the way dreams and stuff work and things. It's probably, it takes a lot more of that time. So yeah, Lox and Panabon on watch.
Dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
Panabon actually starts humming a little bit under his breath. An old Gnomish song from Palacune that he remembers, because he's heard that the gnome in question doesn't speak. They speak. They speak Ashani. You said.
Well, they were speaking Ashani. I mean,
they were speaking Ashani.
Almost everyone speaks the common trade tongue, like worldwide, and then everyone tends to speak 2 or 1 or 2 other languages, whether it's at least the language of where they're from, and then a lot of people speak another language.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna hum because I'm trying to, in case I need to ingratiate myself using the Brotherhood of Gnomish, as it were. I can do that sneakily. Hey, Lux, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Do you have a Nipue of your own? Like, or a Melfrune, or whatever?
He sort of chuckles to himself because he somehow understands what Panabon's trying to ask. And he goes, kinda, maybe. That's all he says.
Because apparently gnomes get the royal shaft in this world, and we don't get a god. So I'm interviewing for a god that I can potentially follow.
So Locke sort of
Every
chuckles.
god is turned off right now.
Yeah. So Locke sort of chuckles to himself and he goes, I don't think that's quite how it works. So, Panabon, look, magic, all of this god stuff, Melfrune, whatever, it's weird, right? It's brand new. Melfrune, I haven't really gotten anything. I've heard about the name from travelers, and that's about it. But, for example, the voice in my head that I hear from time to time, just seems a bit more real to me somehow. When you are traveling and doing all this stuff, maybe it'll come to you without you trying. Like, I just think blindly following what other people are saying and believing doesn't mean that it really means that much to you. But when it means something, that's going to be a lot more powerful.
I just wish we had a god as a gnome. Because Milford doesn't really exist as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's a dragon god. You know, I don't know anyone that's ever actually met Melfroon and Palacune. We all say Oleo Melfroon, but like, did Melfroon really exist? I mean, was Melfroon in the open air graveyard? Who knows? I don't know. It would just be nice to have an option.
Well,
Like, even if I don't like them, like, I would like to know and just have an option for like a deity my size would be good. Like, not even me. I don't even have to be the deity. I mean, I'd make a great deity, but you know.
Panabon, I think you would be a very interesting deity for sure.
Oh, thank you.
What I will say is, don't rush into it. I don't think there's any point in that. You'll find it when it comes.
Like a really big ruby. Yeah.
Exactly, like a ruby.
Do you think anybody here has any good stuff to steal?
Whoa. How about we hold off on the stealing from the people that we're working with? Because we don't want them to steal from us, do we? Actually, I think.
You think someone's going to steal from me? That's adorable.
Well, exactly. I think you should put all of that attention that you want to put to steal other people's stuff and make sure that we don't have any other rogues in other parties trying to steal from us.
Oh, there's like 10 rogues in this caravan, I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
one out of every 10 traveler is a rogue. That's a real scientific fact.
I believe it. I believe it. And I believe that you should be the one to help protect us defensively in case anyone tries to do that to us. So staying here, being careful, maybe checking for people hiding in the shadows. Maybe that's a good use of our next 3 hours on shift.
Oh, that's good. Like, and then if I cut their pinkies off, I can make it like a trademark. Like when someone does something bad to me, I can be like, no.
That reminds me, Panabon. And he reaches into his bag and he goes, this. You almost got us in trouble with the guy trying to pay us. And he tosses it at Panabon. Panabon, no more doing that to people trying to give us money. That's not going to help us.
Well, in my defense, that could have been a trap.
Yeah, it could have been, and you could have also gotten him really angry. I don't want to see no more fingers. So if you do cut them off, Panabon, keep them to yourself.
I wave the finger. You're no fun. You're just no fun. You know.
That ain't my job, sir.
Do you think Aegis would like dip this in like a solution or something so it doesn't go bad?
Aegis told me he does not want it. This is yours, Panabon. If you want to do something with it, you keep it for yourself. Maybe throw it at somebody attacking us. But we're at the end of it, it's your finger, not anybody else's.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bury it in the sand, and if it comes back to life as a full person, then we'll know it's the pinkies.
Good idea. Sounds very scientific, and I'm sure.
Yay! I pocket the gross finger amongst my stuff.
It's still going.
Also, do camels in this universe, do they lay down like a regular camel would when they rest?
They are camels.
Okay. Wherever the tallest hump is, Panabon would just like to get up there, scramble up like a gargoyle, and just kind of observe.
Okay. So you get up there and observe, and the rest of your shift passes relatively uneventfully, and you then take some time to wake up Shay and Perunia for their shift. And so with that, Shay and Perunia, you are up and making sure that nobody comes and messes with your camels.
So I basically take this opportunity to talk to Shay about kind of the routines and what to expect with a caravan, and just kind of some of the things like Rosalia and I have fought during them, and like some of the things that could happen, because I feel like of all of us, her and Panaban have probably spent the least amount of time in something like this or acting as bodyguards, whereas at least Lox has some experience and Aegis at least has seen more like fighting stuff. So I just like feel like it's important to tell Shay about like some of the caravan realities and like make her more prepared for like, okay, if we get attacked, we don't run away and hide. It's our job to defend the caravan.
Shay plays up like she woke up feeling a little bit less cranky because like she got some rest, but then like she wakes up to this shit and she just like leans heavy into it and is like, oh, so we're supposed to defend the caravan and not, so I wouldn't want to run and hide under that wagon, right?
Perunia does not get the sarcasm at all, and she's like, yes, that's right.
She pretends to scribble notes and nod at Perunia when as she's talking, but like her quill is just hovering over the paper.
And I'm like, you're not going to be able to take notes while we're in a fight. I don't know if that you always need that thing around. They're going to kill me.
And then pretends to take notes about not needing notes.
I'm just like, she's just not getting it. She's just not getting it.
Finally, when she's had enough, she closes her book and goes, Perunia, I wonder if since we're keeping watch, we should maybe watch quietly so we can listen for anything coming.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good point, yes.
See, I learned a lot from you.
I think you did.
Oh, no.
Once again, she kind of blinks and then goes, I'll go watch on the other side of the caravan.
Are you sure you're going to be okay?
I've learned from the best.
Shade Loon.
We're gonna like burn something.
And so with that, the rest of your watch passes quietly, very quietly. The crackling of the fire, the only, the crackling of the lowing fire, the only things left. You realize that it's time to move on to the next shift when Rosalia starts moving around. You can tell Prunia that she's kind of fallen out of her trance finally, and that means that it's time for you to go back to sleep, but not before waking up Aegis to join Rosalia.
You do not have to wake me up. About 2 minutes before my shift, I'm already up with my my tea set up, getting my my highly caffeinated tea ready to drink and get started for my shift.
All right.
And for the day, really.
Go.
And yeah, for the day too.
I curl up next to one of the camels because I'm finding them more enjoyable than most of this party right now.
Okay. Yeah, so Aegis is setting up the tea. Rosalia is just kind of, quietly watching out. There's not a lot of movement in the camp. Some of the other lines have set up their own maybe watch for the night, but most of them haven't actually. They all seem pretty comfortable with their safety here. So
as the water is like getting up to a boil, I start to do some high reaches, some long, wide reaches. I touch my toes. I go up to the top again, into the air. I'm doing several different stretches, accompanied by a hup, 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 hup. Do you not desire to limber your body, Rosalia? Hup, hup,
Maria is not thrilled about being on watch with Aegis. She thinks he's just extra. And it's just always something with Aegis. So she takes out her herbs and starts trying to calm herself down. It's not my business. It's not my business. It's not my business.
Push-ups. Push-ups. 100. Crunches. 100.
Trying severely to ground herself right now because she feels like Aegis energy is very intense and it throws her off balance. It's definitely not my business.
Thrust. What are they called? Lunges. Lunges. 50.
At about 5 minutes into it, somebody from one of the other lines is like, "Shut up."
My volume goes down, not a lot, but it does go down a little. When I finish the exercise, I put my hair up tightly, and then I go over to my tea and I pour myself a cup, and then I just sit on my chair, and we both sit in silence.
I turn away from Aegis and look out in the opposite direction and scour the horizon.
And I kind of do a sigh of relaxation as I take a sip of my tea and look off into the distance.
We're all friends here.
There's no growing pains in this party at all.
I'm a delight. I don't know what the rest of you are on about. I'm delightful.
And so, yeah, the rest of the shift passes uneventfully, and the rest of the camp starts stirring. People start moving around. Eventually, Ogelia arrives and lets you know. So for the lot of you to kind of move up, and then as the line of camels starts to go, she is going to kind of point out one of you with this, etc., for that line to go. And we will find out what that line is and how everyone is set up after our 10-minute break. We are at the halfway point of our stream tonight, so we're going to take 10 minutes, get a chance to go and get our own short rest in before we continue on.
Oh, so we're back in an hour?
And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. We left off after the night. We are now, for those who are keeping track, this is actually only the 4th day of existence of this game, because we, everyone met 4 days ago. And the sun is rising, and Ogelia is kind of coming forward to start us to grab everybody and assign everyone their line. So you kind of move towards this rock outcropping, and as the caravan starts to kind of pull ahead, the first group is you definitely see Norsum, the caravan boss, in the first group pulling. You count 11 camels in that train. There is another person also with her. You feel maybe that's the person tending the camels. The next one is the second one goes through, and there is a gnome and a human kind of tending that one as well. And then you see that there is somebody kind of walking with them with the sword, just kind of keeping an eye on things. As the third train starts to pass, this one with 10 camels as well, Ogelia looks kind of to the group, especially to the 4 non-gnomes, and indicates that one of you should walk with this line.
I take it. Okay,
so Perunia moves forward. There are 2 individuals here. One is a young man whom Aegis actually recognizes as the individual Dish who spoke with him the other night, or last night. And then there is a woman as well. They're both young, and yeah, they're both young, and they seem to be their camel train. It seems to have mostly like textiles and the like. The next line is kind of pulling forward, and there is just a single person with this line. It is just looks like a middle-aged man. And Ogelia kind of looks over to see who is of the remaining three are going to travel with this particular line.
I'll do it.
All right. So with that, Lox, you join this individual, and kind of walk along with his line of camels. He seems to be a one-man show, just kind of doing his thing by himself. The next line kind of comes up, and there's two sort of they're rather short people. They're kind of wearing a hood, and of course this leaves Aegis and Rosalia for to pick in this line.
Oh, I'm being paid to be a guard?
Yeah, that's part of it too.
Oh boy.
It's
Fine.
hilarious. Like I would just
Fine,
expect like he's like surprised that he has to actually do guard duties too.
Right. So she's looking between Aegis and Rosalia.
Cross my arms.
I'll go with the last line, not this one.
Wow, that was like that one was passive aggressive, and the other person just like drew the line.
Panabon kind of looks at Shay and nudges. Do you want this one then? If they're not going to do it.
I had planned for you to perhaps. Ogelia says that she's offers for Shay and Panabon to go with these two. Very well. Then the two of you, thank you so much.
Yay! My name is Nickelback. Hello.
And
Oh my
so
god, that's hilarious. Oh my god, I love it.
Shay and Panabon are in the 5th line. So the 6th line.
I thought we were in the 8th line.
You were, but then neither of these two wanted to go in this line for whatever reason, and so Panabon offered to go in this line.
I volunteered us.
Okay.
All right. So the next line comes up, and then so Ogelia looks and says, well, it's this line, and then not the one next, but the one after that. So which of you wants this line, and which of you wants the 8th line?
Who's left? I'm the only one left, right?
You and Rosalia. Yeah,
Oh.
but she said she was going to take the last one, so.
Right. So I'll just take whatever is left.
Okay. Well, then she says, well, then this is the line for you. And you join a woman kind of tending her line with she does have a handler with her. And then the next line passes, and she directs Rosalia to join this gentleman in this 8th line. There, the guy in the 8th line, actually, you see that he is a dragonborn. He's got a hood on, but it's definitely wide because he's got these sort of horns that kind of protrude from the side of his head. But you're joining a dragonborn and another gnome that is tending this line. And
Purple, like Alex, or is he a different kind?
he's a brass or a gold, you're pretty sure. So yeah, you're not you're not like, you can't really tell at a glance the specifics, but definitely metallic and either probably brass or gold. Definitely does not have the reddish shade of a copper or silver, the color that indicates he's silver. And then there's 4 more lines after that. And as you look back, Rosalia, you do see that the last line, it has one of those howdahs. So when I said there's saddles that you can kind of sit in, that's actually like a howdah when it's all covered and so there's a howdah there, and then you see a small figure kind of walking beside, and two individuals kind of traveling alongside that final line, and that final line is only 5 camels actually. And yeah, you kind of get on with the day. As you start to move forward, Lox, you do you hear the sound of wings kind of flap from behind you, and it's like you hear the flight of the bird kind of going from behind to the front, just in the direction of travel. However, when you look up into the sky, you do not see anything.
He just sort of mumbles to himself in Nuri. Message taken.
So, all right. As you ride throughout the day, it's generally quiet. Are any of you interested or looking at or speaking with the people that you're with?
I am.
I would have automatically taken stock of, with my insight, of everybody in my line. It's kind of a natural reflex.
Okay. And Prunya?
Oh yeah, I mean Prunya she considers herself a professional at this point, so it's professional to introduce yourself to the people that you're in charge of. So yeah, she's got a pretty big ego about this thing.
Okay. So as you approach the young man there, he kind of looks at you a little wide-eyed. You're rather big, he says.
Why, thank you.
Yes. I apologize. I am Dish Vishadesh. What are you called?
Avril.
Avril.
Lavenge. Yes.
Lavenge. That is an interesting name. Have you long been a caravan guard?
I have for quite some time now. I'm very good at my job. So you're in
I
good
see.
hands today.
That is
I wanted
that's
to note for the audience that I'm like 3 years older than this kid at best.
yeah. No. you how long have you been with the caravans guard as a guard?
As I said, I've been on quite a few journeys in my day. Getting to be quite an old hand at this. How about you? This seems like your first.
It is we are wishing to make our way in the world, and so we have invested what we have in this train, and hopefully, as long as everything works out, then perhaps we will be able to start our lives, our own lives on our own. Yes. And as he's kind of sputtering, the woman, also young, kind of moves up, and Dish, she doesn't want to know your whole life story.
I smile at her. It's good to know who that we're guarding.
Yes. So, just to be certain, I am capable with the blade, and you do notice that she does have a curved sword, saber, at strapped to her side. And Dish is gifted with
Magic. I act very knowledgeable in this.
yes. It is not something fully in his control, but when necessary, he can call upon it. And so, if there is something that occurs, you will not be forced to stand on your own, Miss Lavenge. Yes.
Thank you. And I incline towards my head towards somebody who I would regard as a warrior. And I'm going to look at their caravan train, and I think you said textiles, right?
Mm-hmm. It's mostly
They do
textiles, it looks
have
like.
some beautiful goods here, and I would absolutely want to make sure that they reach their destination.
Yes. We would be ruined if not. And then Nira kind of elbows him, jabs him, like, hey, shut up, maybe. don't give everything away. And if I didn't introduce her, she did introduce herself as Nira, but not with she didn't follow up with anything besides that.
Well, thank you, Madam Nira. We'll make sure that both you and your companion, are you two related? Get there safely.
We are friends from our village. Dish says. You get the hint of like a little bit of a blush from him, as Nira just kind of nods. Yes, I pull this knucklehead out of every situation he gets himself into.
Oh, I know it. I know a couple like that. They're also very interesting. I think of Shaylin and Panabon.
little Shayloon cartoon head and little
Yeah.
Panabon cartoon head, like. Yeah. So other than that, you get the sense that Nira is fairly confident, and is even if not experienced, is just kind of ready for whatever to happen. Whereas Dish is a little more wide-eyed about everything. You also get a sense that he's a little more. He comes from a more pampered background, perhaps. So.
Well, I'll companionably just talk near them if they want to, and if they're not interested in conversation, I'll just keep my Campbell a little bit to the way and act as a guard looking out.
Okay. Yeah, they're fairly companionable, actually. They without getting too deep into their former lives, you get a sense that they're not too keen to talk about where they're from. But other than that, they're amiable. They're chatty. And so yeah, that's kind of your day is actually kind of pleasant with them in that regard. Lox, are you?
Sure am.
And all right, so this individual, like I said, he's maybe around a middle-aged man here. As you approach, he kind of grins at you. Welcome. What is your name, friend?
The name's Lachlan Darcy.
Lachlan. You are not a Shani.
No, sir. If the hat wasn't the tip off there, I'm glad that I'm meeting you. What's your name?
Oh, please call me Till.
Till.
Yes.
Till.
This is my wagon. These are my goods. We are taking them up to Giululati, and there I will become a rich man.
Oh, what are you selling?
Oh, I am carrying various goods and spices from the new lands. Yes.
Oh, where'd you get them? That sounds like a mighty fine haul.
Oh, I've bought them from one of the ships that came in. They said they came in from this new land, and with many strange and exotic things, goods, and I've purchased many of them from that ship, and now they are loaded on my camels, and we take them to Giululati. Free of pirates. No pirates, yes, in the desert.
I would be very surprised if we came upon pirates.
Yes.
I would maybe I'd like to try some of your stuff when you get set up in the new town. Obviously we will be getting there safely. That is my job to ensure. But I'd love to try some of those. You said spices from the new world.
Spices, mostly spices, and some dried fruits, and they I did not purchase any of the creatures they brought because difficult to
They,
travel with them.
they brought creatures from the New World.
Yes, yes. Most some birds, some little like monkeys. Um,
All right. I am intrigued to meet you, and I would love to pick your brain on how you made some contacts with people who can get stuff from the New World. Because everybody's trying to do it, but you, sir, are a little bit ahead of the curve, I'd say.
it takes a keen eye. You have to keep watch, know what ships are coming in, where they're coming in from, and then you have to be the first to be up there because many people would want to have get this haul that I've got, but because I was first on the ship, it is mine.
So Lox kind of thinks he has an idea of the kind of person he's talking to, and so what he does next is he asks Till to tell him some of the stories from his adventures because he figures this guy has some interesting stories, and I imagine that So
Well, I have been caravanning for quite some time. It is not. I mean, I cross the desert back and forth, but my time has given me the ability to know where the good values are and to uh, keep my finger on the pulse of what is exciting and new. So, yes. And that is why, as I said, you keep your eyes open for the best goods to come in, and then you purchase them before anyone else.
you strike me as a guy who likes to keep track of what's going on. So I have a question because I've heard some talking amongst the caravan that there may be someone who's been telling stories back in Merkudashta about some stuff out into the desert. I know it sounded like a little gnome guy was talking about some of that. Maybe you've heard some stuff.
Gnomes, yes. There is very few gnomes on the caravan itself, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you're talking about the gnome that travels with Lord Vigrige.
That sounds, yeah, maybe right. I don't actually know much about it. I just heard from some friends back in Merkudashta that he was telling some mighty fine stories, and as you know, I'm a fan of the story. So
Ooh, I cannot speak to the stories themselves. I did not hear them, but I know that Lord Vigrige took great interest in this gnome's tales. And so that is why they are on this journey. They don't even have anything to sell at Ululati. I don't believe they're going all the way. So perhaps uh, at the big oasis, they will part ways from the caravan and then make their way back home. Uh, which I imagine that means that whatever they seek is between here and there.
yeah, I'd believe a man of your keen eye any day. So thanks. That's perfect. That's what I was wondering.
Yes, yes. Um, Here, and he kind of opens up a little cloth, and he's got some little dried fruits in them, and he kind of holds it out to you. These are some berries from this new world. I find them to be quite sweet.
Hmm. And he digs into his pocket and pulls out some random perishable food that Aegis has given him, and he hands that over to to him. This isn't much, but it'll starve off some hunger there.
Just thank you. He kind of takes it and um, just kind of
Sit away.
covers it up and puts it away, and then
Locke chuckles to himself.
he eats a couple of the berries himself. And this guy is the kind of guy that will talk your ear off.
Yeah.
If you let him.
I eat how many did I just get? One?
Well, he held it out to you, so it's like,
So-
if anyone holds out to you, it's like,
I'm
however
gonna
you
take
say.
2 and I'm gonna eat 1 and keep 1 to show to the group that, look at all this stuff coming from the New World.
Yeah, I mean, it's got an interesting taste. The sweetness is probably at the level of like a dried strawberry, but not with any of the tartness. only a sweetness to it. So yeah, so that as you kind of continue on, so that's what's going on there. Shay and Panabon, it appears that you have joined a set of twins. They're pretty excited about the two of you. They're only a little bit taller. They are human, but they're very short for humans. So they don't tower over you like Perunia does necessarily. They're maybe like right at 5 foot. And their names are Adila and Junie. You very quickly learn.
Well, hello. I'm Nickelback, and this is Lampira, and we're your guards today. Hi.
Yeah. Hello. You're gnomes,
That is correct.
and you're our guards.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's fun. What are you great warriors? You don't have a sword, she says to Shayloon.
I don't need a sword. I can kill people with my brain.
That sounds.
That's what she calls her sword.
What? She didn't quite hear you, John Panabon.
It's an invisible sword. It's very impressive. You're gonna love it.
Invisible sword? I've never heard of such a thing. Well, I would greatly like to see some of this brain killing if someone attacks a...
If you see it, that means you're in danger. We don't want that.
Oh, we could all do with a little bit of excitement. This is going to be a long journey across the desert, and if it's just every day the same boring, then you might find yourself brain killing one of us. Yes.
If nothing happens the entire time, it's a very safe adventure, and that's what we want.
Do we really, though?
Yes, 100%.
Well, perhaps then, perhaps. I don't. Well, what do you think, Mr. Gnome?
Oh, well, in gnome tradition, the longer you go without a battle, the more bread that you get in gnome heaven. So it's kind of 50-50. Like, do you kill someone or do you get more bread, you know? And you have to kind of decide from there what you want.
Gnomes get bread in heaven as a reward. How much bread do you think you're going to get, Miss Gnome?
I'm just like sputtering at Panabon. Sometimes I wonder if your brain is even connected to your mouth.
That's an odd sentiment. Is that like a gnome saying?
Around me, it normally is, yes.
Oh.
Panabon, you do you. I'm gonna make sure we don't get attacked, and I just start walking alongside, like looking around but shaking my head.
She doesn't seem like a lot of fun.
Oh, once you get her started, she's great. You just keep asking questions, and there'll be a ton of really fun answers.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, yes.
Like just keep pestering Lampira, and her name is Lampira. Remember to call her Lampira, or she'll get very upset.
Oh, yes, I called her Miss Gnome before. What is your name, sir?
Nickelback.
Oh, yes, you said Nickelback.
Yeah.
Nickelback. Very, very good.
It's a family name.
You are quite brightly dressed. Are you a performer as well?
I try. I do a lot of card tricks. People seem to like my card tricks.
Oh, card tricks. Well, my brother and I, as the one points to the other, and then you realize that the other one must be a male. We are also performers. We are between we're between performances, just trying to make our way to Jululati, and perhaps join with a traveling performance troupe there. We would greatly love to see your card tricks and um, any other skills that you have that you might be willing also to share with us. Yes.
Oh, of course, definitely. Probably not when I'm trying to guard, but definitely like around the fire. As a gnome, I tinker, so I have little gadgets. And you should ask Lampira. Lampira has the best singing voice. Yeah, it's just amazing. It'll blow you out of the water, and maybe I'll do some dancing while Lampira sings. It'll be great.
That would be wonderful, and we could do our own acrobatics. We could entertain the caravan at night.
Oh yeah, definitely. That
Yes,
sounds like a
please.
sounds like a
Yes.
ball.
Excellent. Oh, that's so wonderful. Very, very good. And with that, Dila, maybe it's Junie, you're not sure, approaches Shayloon. I'm told you have a lovely singing voice.
I kind of like at first I don't react because that would not be me. And then I realize that they're talking to me and kind of like stop and turn around and go, why are you like this?
And we'll leave that. I think everyone has a pretty keen idea how that day is going to go for the rest of the day. Yeah. So meanwhile, in the next line, we have Aegis. And,
Everyone, stay in a tight line, stay close, and you will all be safe.
Oh,
I
those
will
poor people.
defend you.
That's
You
the
say
worst line to
that-
be on.
You say that, and the person who is tending the camels just kind of scurries forward, and does do exactly that. The woman that's on her own camel, kind of riding, just kind of looks at you and gives you a smile and kind of nods, and reaches into a little pouch that she has, and then kind of pulls her camel up towards you, and proffers you it looks like at first like a rock, but then you realize it might be carved somehow, and she just kind of extends it towards you, as if offering it.
Kaido, what does it look like? I think I can look at it.
It looks like well, it's very square looking, so it looks like some sort of maybe a biped, or looks like maybe it's some sort of carving of an ape or something. Perhaps it's got like a central part that kind of pulls up that you think is a head, and definitely has two holes for eyes, and then but the arms would be like wrapped around the legs, so the knees would be pulled up, so it's almost a cube. And it's very rudimentary actually in the carvings. It's like it's not like someone with a lot of skill did it. It's like someone found a rock that maybe was shaped this way and then kind of furrowed in, a few lines to kind of give it that impression.
I'll reach out and take it. Bitaru?
And then
You do not speak? Perfect.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I could not have gotten that line.
What about it? Like, does it do anything? Does it move? Is it just a statue? Is it just a carving?
it's just a little carving, a little trinket. She and after you take it, she just kind of and you don't speak. She says no, and you're like, perfect, and she kind of nods. She kind of you see she kind of laughs at that, but without making any noise really, and then she just kind of grins, and does this like, that's yours kind of thing, and then
Is it much about the age range of the person? Can I tell?
upper 20s, lower 30s, maybe you would say. Yeah,
Does it
not
look
like
capable?
not a child. She's not carrying any weapons. She's not wearing a lot of loose clothing. She's just mostly got uh, she's modestly dressed, and she does have like a head covering to keep the sun off of her, but her clothing is a little bit. It's not like super loose and flowing like a lot of some of the other merchants have. Um, and uh, and that's about what you get without like doing a full on look over that you would roll investigation or perception for.
Can I tell that I have a wish spell now that I have this little figure? No.
You know, but she falls into an easy and silent trot beside you with the camel. And
Excellent.
you do note that she also kind of scans to the left and right to just kind of looks like she's also kind of keeping an eye out.
I'll take out a little piece of jerky and just start kind of chewing on it as we go.
Okay. And then in the 8th line, we have Rosalia. There's a gnome that's tending the camels here. And the individual that you are traveling with is the Dragonborn once again.
Is that the only other person, the gnome and the dragonborn? And
yes.
You said there was a hod something on top of the.
Oh, that's the like 3 lines back. There's a howdah, which is like enclosed sort of seating area that they have kind of situated on the camel. So someone important.
Okay, so there's someone important in my caravan. Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly.
So I want to know who the golden dragonborn is. So I walk up to him and ask him what his name is, or their name is, or her name.
Oh, hello. I am Farkame.
Farkame?
Farkame, yes.
Farkame, where is your caravan coming from, and where are you going?
Oh, I am just traveling with my companion here. We are running our goods up into Jululati to sell. Just various sundry items. I find that traveling the desert relaxes me, whereas the seas can be rough and unsteady.
Have you ever been attacked before on a caravan?
Oh yes, that's we have seen our fair share of bandits.
And what did you find the most useful when you were attacked? How did you protect yourselves?
Well, generally, the bandits will tend to try to congregate and focus on a single line for their thievery, if you will, and the rest will sort of try to keep the rest of the caravan engaged elsewhere so that they can make off. It's usually quite precision. I have been lucky not to have been the targeted camel line most of the times. By most, I mean all of the times, I suppose. It's a bit of a benefit that I simply pull down my hood and they perhaps decide that another line would be a better target for them. And so I am pleased that you have joined us, but I do not see you carrying any weaponry. Are you perhaps one of the monks who have trained to fight with your hands?
No, you can think of me as an aesthetic, but I'm not a monk.
Oh, I see. So interesting. I must say I don't quite recognize the style of your markings, the tattoos. I believe, are those tattoos or is that painted on?
They are traces of my lineage.
I see. I see. Okay. Um, I I must I must admit to fascination. Um, it is, as I said, not unlike any I've seen prior to today. Um, and you're not y- you're not Ishani.
Yeah. What is the difference between a golden dragonborn and a purple dragonborn?
Hmm. That is
Yes.
that is quite a question. There are many that will say there is no difference other than the shade of the scales. And there are some that will tell you that a purple dragonborn is far more dangerous to the good of society than a golden dragonborn. I myself am brass, um, which that is a lot of times you can tell by the sort of greenish tint that comes down along the features here. Yes, as the light catches the scales. But um, do you know the history of the dragonborn?
I only know the history of my friend over there. You can see she's a purple dragonborn, and we've been on several caravans together. But I have not heard talk of any dragonborn history or lore.
Hmm. Well, see, without getting far too into the weeds, just to put it simply, several hundred years ago, there was a war between those dragonborn of metallic persuasion, such as myself, and those chromatic, the blacks and blues and reds, if you will. And it was a religious war. Hmm? And the metallic dragonborn, of course, fell under the purview of Meofun, who is the great god of all dragonborn, and the chromatic dragonborn followed Skultior, an evil and wicked god. However, the events that transpired afterwards, uh, I, it's hard for me to convey, but to hear the scholars tell it, the Dragonborn are not from this world. They came from another place. And when they did so, they lost connection with the gods. Uh, and so, without that power, the chromatic Dragonborn sort of fell into disarray. And the metallic Dragonborn eventually brought them into a single society rather than slaughter them whole scale. Um, and so now you have the society we have now. There are many who believe that Skultior still lurks among the minds of the chromatic dragonborn, but I have found that most of them are just simply people like you and I.
So,
In
of the two
fact,
caravans, oh, continue.
I was just going to say, in fact, that this sort of overbearing approach that many of my peers have are what have caused me to leave Palacune to find my own way. And I find that the various different cultures and various different peoples are exceptionally fascinating. So that is why I'm here and not back in Palacune, even though every time I pull into town, I am met with the Inquisitors.
So, of the two caravans, ours and hers would be the most protected because you said that thieves will not will hesitate to attack dragonborn caravans.
I I believe that yes, in a manner of speaking, because they will want to assail the line that appears the least protected and the furthest from the best protection. Yes. And so, if I were to choose between um, a caravan guarded by a, well, I mean, even your friend there is I imagine she's taller than I am. So,
It's pretty
um,
intimidating.
indeed. So if someone were to, of course, decide to attack one of the caravans, and there was that one with the a large warrior protecting it, and this one with only Otsabi, points to the little gnome, guarding it. I mean, it appears the answer of which to attack would be quite apparent. No disparagement, Otsabi. The little gnome just kind of nods and goes back to what they're doing.
Well, thank you. I didn't know that about the dragonborn. I just knew that there was a big purple one, and that you're one of the few golden ones that I've come across.
Brass, mind you, I am
Brass.
brass skills. Yes. I find that our golden brethren are more prone to being asses.
As in being literal asses.
Just being unkind, uncharitable. Not all, but yes, they so, but we are not in Palakun. We are here in this glorious desert. And I had asked, you are not the Shani then?
No, like you, I'm from another world, but I have not been able to get back to it, and so I'm on this caravan and just kind of figuring out where to go from here. I have gods, but like unlike you, they only come to me every now and then, and they give me direction. So until I got the direction from them, I'm just here.
I see. It's hard to tell if he's taking you at your word or if he disbelieves you. He doesn't say anything. And your gods answer you with... They answer your prayers?
That's a good question. I haven't figured that out.
As it tends to be with gods, I find.
They're very temperamental.
And oftentimes distant. I find that if you are to be traveling with us, I think that this will be quite an engaging ride and trip across the desert. Have you been before?
No, I'm actually looking forward to an attack because that is what I do best, is fight. So I presume when the caravan does come under attack, because this is a long journey through the desert, your caravan and my caravan will be the first line of defense, and then we will have to put people in charge of protecting the other caravans. I'm already formulating in my mind about that.
I see. Well, if I were a gambling man, I would probably place the attack either perhaps in that middle caravan with the twins. I don't know if you noticed them, or behind us near the rear. I imagine the gods in the final caravan will be more concerned about protecting whoever it is in that howdah than they will about the caravan in front of them.
Tell who is in the howdah.
Oh, that howdah, I believe that is Lord Ujanda Vigrij. He's a man of some influence in Merkadashta.
Does he have any enemies?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, the more battle, the more exciting. Hopefully your mysterious person in the howdah has enemies so that you can fight them. But if not, that's okay. I will continue along this caravan because I'm being paid for it. Although I won't do anything with the money because I don't use it in my line of work.
That's an interesting outlook. I assure you, we will be watched and we will be assessed for an attack. That will happen. Whether we are actually attacked, that remains to be seen. But if we do, it sounds like you are both ready, capable, and anxious. And so I am happy to be by your side.
Nothing more interesting in life than battle, so We'll wait for when that time comes.
And so with that, you travel on again. Every once in a while, companionable, sporadic conversations, but neither of you feels the need to fill the silence, if you will. And so that is, so that first day kind of comes to a close. The caravan starts to wagon up, if you will. There are no wagons, but to kind of come into a circle, and the guards are set. There are 2 teams of guards, so on one side and the other, and then you kind of are slowly walking around. And the first guard of the evening, Aegis and Perunia, your shift kind of goes mostly without incident. No one injured during the day, no sunburns, and it's mostly a quiet sort of it's a quiet period early in the night. Nothing really happens, and then you eventually get into the second shift where you wake both Lachlan and Shay.
I take a cup of water and I throw it on Lox to wake him up.
I guess I deserve that.
Indeed.
I do it to him all the time.
That's good context because Pruna's like, geez, that was kind of a mean move, Aegis.
Like, you didn't even try to wake him up first and he didn't wake up. You just did it right away.
I was like, okay, I got the message. He dusts off his clothes.
Give you a little breakfast on the exchange, whether you eat it or not.
Yeah. He takes it and is like, thanks. Puts it right in his pocket. And so when him and Shayloon sort of get a moment, once everything's sort of settled down, Lox will start the conversation by going, so, Shayloon, how was your first day as a hired bodyguard?
Noisy.
Wow, that doesn't surprise me at all. I wanted to see how things are going. How are you feeling?
I mean, overall, I feel better that we're out of Vaishon. So hopefully nothing's hunting us. And I don't know. I miss home.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you why I'm here? Why I'm so far from my home as well?
You're from
Estopalur.
That's right. I don't think so.
I'd like to share that if you don't mind for a moment.
She closes her book.
So, look, I know our group. It's a lot. It's a lot to me too. But I can't even go home. Where I'm from, I spent most of my younger years riding with a couple of friends of mine, causing some trouble, trying to help people. That's what I tried to do. Along the way, I made some enemies, and long story short, I can't go back home. I may have got my father in a lot of danger. Now, in a word, I guess I'm trying to get stronger so I can actually put up a fight. I say all of this because, look, I think the other day I was trying to tell you what I thought was best for the group, and obviously I don't know if that put you off or made you feel not listened to or what, but the reason it matters to me that we don't alienate someone like Aegis. Is he's one of the only people I know who have promised to help me to get back to my dad, to make sure that he's okay. And something about being with all of y'all makes me really feel like we're on a path to doing something, on the way to learning how to get stronger, so that I don't just wind up at the end of a barrel shotgun. I I know we put ourselves in danger and we chase all these adventures, but I would I would think that I would lay my life down for any one of you guys, especially you, Miss Shayloon. And so, no matter what, even if Panabon was to get us into some kind of trouble, right? I I think of us all as heading in the right direction, and I need you by my side because you know more about this magic mumbo jumbo than I do.
I know it's like to want to go home. I have it's a lot to process because I think we have that same end goal, but how we see ourselves getting there is different. You want to grow and get stronger and take the fight home. I want to avoid the fight. I just want to live to see tomorrow. I want to live to see my parents again. I didn't ask for any of this. And I'm used to, the answers are in books. It's good versus evil, it's right versus wrong, and meeting Panabon and getting as far as we have, there's a lot more gray area than I'm used to or comfortable with, and I don't know what that means or how to define it, and I don't know what the right thing is to do. I just want to keep breathing, and I don't. From all the reading, I wanted an adventure. I wanted something, but being on it and realizing that we could die, and I don't know that I was ready for that. So I appreciate what you say, and it's a lot for me to think about, and it means a lot.
I say one thing. I think you're one of the strongest people we've got on this team. I think you have been, and I've never seen someone work as hard as you to get where they are already. And that's how I know you're supposed to be on this journey. I haven't met someone as curious as you, someone who can figure out all of this stuff the way that you can. And us going out there and seeing these adventures, that's a chance for you to really make a name for yourself as a scholar, as a well-known person. A lot of people spend all of their life solely looking at books, but you'll have the experience to tie to that.
If I live through it,
you will, because I'd rather die than let you go. I just wanted to say, I wouldn't pick anyone else to be on this journey than you. He sort of starts fumbling in his pocket, grabbing a gold harmonica that he has.
She doesn't know what to say, but she's all like teared up, and she'll just sit with you.
And I think they just sit and watch until the next watch begins.
All right. And again, Rosalia, she comes out of her trance and prepares for her watch as you wake Panabon. And then once again, the final watch of the night, Panabon and Rosalia are sitting together.
I take out a dagger from my pack, and I'm actually I'm kind of moving it around to see how the light reflects off of it
Mm-hmm.
and how the light plays on it. So Rosalia, do your magic knife daggers thing? Do they have a reflection to them?
They do have a reflection when I take them out, but then when I send them away, they disappear.
Okay. I was just wondering. I like to do this to test and see how the shadow and light play together. I know that I'm very silly, but I'm also very, very worried about things. I have kind of a weird question for you. Do do elves where you're from? Do you do a lot of art? Do you have a lot of painting or color practices where you're from?
I study a lot of terrain and navigation. I study the forest, I study the trees, the mountains, the landscapes, the routes to take. That's kind of like my form of art.
Neat. Yeah. What kind of trees and flowers do they have where you're from?
Well, they don't look like the ones here. They're definitely a lot more eerie, if you will. Some of them even look grotesque compared to the things in this world. I wouldn't say beautiful, I would say more of a haunting beauty.
Do they have the same kind of colors, or are the colors more grotesque too? Are the shadows deeper here or there?
I'd say the shadows are definitely deeper there, and some of the colors aren't on our spectrum. They're not on our chart.
That sounds really exciting. I mean, I like. You haven't seen what I actually do. You've seen what I do with daggers, but I would love at some point to be able to show you what I do with color, to show you the art that I do as a gnome. I don't. There aren't many gnomes that do art like I do, but I make masks and I perform, and so I don't know how close I can get, but maybe if you end up feeling homesick or something like that, I can try to draw some trees, something for you. I don't know how close I'll get because I've never seen them, but like, that's, if that interests you at some point, I'm happy to do that for you.
I think we get a different kind of homesick. One of the things I noticed is that Shaylin has been looking a little bit homesick lately, kind of down.
Yeah, Shaylin is very homesick. Shaylin wants to write home, and I have done my best to dissuade that because I don't believe any good will come of Shaylin writing home. One of the main differences between Shaylin and I is that my family and I aren't really close. And because she's from a different country than I am, there's a lot of different customs there that I don't get. Because in Palacoon, gnomes just aren't really that close. Family's family, but it's not everything. But to be honest, I'm afraid if she writes home that whatever is chasing us is going to find a way to get to us even faster. And because all I've got are knives, and they ain't magic knives, not like yours, I don't have any idea how I'm going to be able to actually really help. It's what the acid was for. So we'll see. I hope the acid was a good idea. I have no idea.
Well, you could make it into, like, I don't know, a weapon that shoots out acid at people. Or, I don't know, you could, like, attach it to your daggers, and when the dagger hits someone, then the acid gets on them. I feel like you can come up with a lot of creative solutions to distributing that acid in a constructive way.
Yes. That's why I gave half of it to Aegis. Because if Aegis can replicate it and that works, then we have a higher supply of it. So yeah, just trying to be of use, because it takes way too long to stab a deadomancy body. They don't go down like regular bodies do, and that's a problem. That's just not workable. That's not going to work for me.
Well, at least we know kind of what we're up against, and we know what's worked in the past. I think unconventional warfare would be a lot more effective, such as you coming up with uses for your daggers and Shaylin's magic. And with the Dragonborn that we have here, they can always provide the muscle to scare people off. So,
I appreciate it.
yeah, I
Good
think
use
it's in
of
good hands.
Dragonborn. Yeah. I will say, I don't know if they have this where you're from, where the elves are from, but historically, if the person that I think it is who's chasing us, which I don't want to say the name in case they are listening in from wherever they are, they have a lot of things that they do with blood on floors in circles, and I don't know if that's a thing where you're from, but that's definitely a thing that has happened in history with what we're going through. I don't know if it's exactly it, but I don't know if you're familiar with that in magic, but that's pretty much all I know, really.
You mean like circles of protection?
I don't know what exactly they were for, but it seemed like the opposite of protection. Seems like a circle almost to create chaos. And I don't know what it's for because I didn't see it actually being done, but the aftermath of it was very scary and things that should definitely not exist. So yeah, it's not great. Not great at all.
Yeah, it seems like we're dealing with dark magic, like a deep, ancient dark magic. And I don't think it's coming from this world. That's something I should probably talk with Mox about as well, because I think he understands that sort of thing.
Well,
Maybe.
I hope somebody does, because I don't get it. I just want everything to be pretty. I just want things to be nice and glitzy, and I just want things that I can steal. And magic complicates that. So the less of that, the more stealing I can do, which is just great.
I think there's plenty of things for you to steal, and I even got you some of these little dagger sheaths at the last place that we got our supplies. So I got a couple of those for you.
Oh, so cute! Thank you. Oh,
I don't have many daggers, so I have no use for them.
Oh, I've got plenty of daggers. I find daggers very useful. Obviously, they're better with live people instead of dead people, though. Dead people, you have to stab them like 10 times. You know, give me a bandit that I can stab twice, maybe cut off a leg. You know, those are good times. Good times.
Can I ask, are all of the gnomes in your family this vicious? Do they all like to stab things as well? Or is it just an inherited trait?
Oh, it's just me. I'm fairly unique among my family. They were probably glad to see me go to Flynn-Upperfell. I've got to be completely honest. Probably a lot less heartache when I left. Not that they don't love me, but I'm a little weird. I don't know if you've noticed.
I think everyone marches to the beat of their own drum, so I can't say that you're weird. I just say you do your own thing.
It's true. I enjoy thieving and violence and color. That's really That's all you need in the good times department.
Sounds like an adult coloring book.
Yeah, I like that. It makes me very happy.
That's
I'm
incredible.
glad we're on patrol together. I'm enjoying this immensely. I can't wait to see what the desert has to offer.
Okay. All right. So the discussion winds down a bit, and the sun starts to peek over the horizon, and eventually the land becomes bright and warm, and everyone stirs and wakes up. The sounds of
Oh
hup,
my god,
hup,
Aegis.
hup, 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 hup sort of go across the camp. What are you doing, Mr. Ing? Says young Dish as he approaches you.
Exercise. It is important to stay limber, to keep the blood flowing. Every morning,
Oh,
on a consistent schedule, I always exercise.
From his bedroll, you hear Locks go, "Kid, if you know what's good for you, you won't join because he'll have you doing it every day."
I, but you're a doctor, so you would know. Can you show me?
Certainly, I begin to show my routine
and
to Dish.
he follows best he can, and afterwards everyone gets packed up and the caravan starts to wheel out. You can see that you're kind of ending this area of rocks and hard packed sand, and that ahead there are dunes, and you're about to be making that the switch into a little bit harder ground to move through. Up until this point, Locks especially, but also to a degree, Rosalia have been kind of like, we could have had horses. There's no problem for horses here, but the dunes up ahead, probably maybe half a day's travel. You'll probably reach the dunes by the evening. And as you are traveling on through, suddenly, Rosalia, you see ahead of you, one of the camels suddenly just grunts and sort of like sidesteps, and then it just kind of and just pitches over into the dirt. From ahead, Aegis, you actually hear the commotion as well and kind of turn back along with the young woman that's with you. To see this camel kind of like just flop over into the dirt as one of the tenders kind of moves up to see what's wrong. Yeah, definitely something going on up there. But what is actually happening, we'll have to wait until next week to find out.
I turn and go, I hope those camels aren't insured by Aegis too.
Yeah, we'll see everybody again next week when we see what happened to this camel. In the meantime, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for joining us. Anyone who has is invested in watching with us. I want to thank the cast here for a lovely session of just kind of getting to know each other a little bit better and helping everybody get to know the characters a little bit better. I'd really like to thank Tom for running our tech as always.
Thanks, Tom.
This particular show is not the easiest tech to run because I am 100% tied to this fantasy grounds, and so I make it difficult. But I like it. So with that, again, yes, thank you everybody. Please join us tomorrow night for Dresden. Tuesday nights for Shadowrun. Join Randy on Wednesday night with at the Saving Throw show, which is a different Twitch channel. Then Thursday we have our Dungeons and Dragons, and Friday we have our community game night. So join our community if you haven't yet. We're on Discord. If someone wants to put the Discord invitation in, and join us in whatever we do. Casting calls for monthly games as well. for people to kind of sit in on. All kinds of fun things. Just join us. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we would like you to do that if you can. I'll probably start saying that at the beginning of the streams, huh? That'd probably be good. And with that, anything else from the cast before we go? And yep.
We'll see you Saturday as well for D&D Episodicals. 4 is premiering in a week and a half, 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, and on the 27th. And we're playing Descent into Avernus. So starting from the beginning, you get to watch that campaign take place. And we have our streamathon, as John reminded me at the beginning of the episode, April 10th. That's going to be a 36-hour streamathon starting at 10 a.m. Central Saturday morning with our D&D Episodicals 4, and ending Sunday at 10 p.m. Central with like Clockwork. So lots of fun for a whole weekend.
Lots of fun. So yeah, join us. You know, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on this, we're on that, we're on everything. We have a Patreon, and you know, we're very committed to the community of Realm Alternus. So other than that, we will see everybody next week. We'll see some of you tomorrow, throughout the week as well. And thank you so much for joining us. Good night.
Night.